Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. My name is Hunter on this Thursday, October the 23rd, 2025. Nearing the end of the week, we got a lot to talk about, so bear with me here in the video. Severe weather, damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes. We also have frost freeze warnings, where we have the coldest air of the season in the United States, and what is stealing the headlines, and rightfully so, is Melissa in the Caribbean, and is likely to become a Category 4, if not a Category 5 hurricane. We're going to cover it all in today's video. I want help from you. Like the video, give it a thumbs up, give it 1,000 likes today would be awesome. Share it with a friend, family member, and on social media. And of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. We do cover Canada, we cover the United States, and we cover the tropics. So make sure to subscribe to the channel. When you do, turn the post notification bell on to all so you get all my videos and all of my live streams when I do post them to my YouTube channel. So without further ado, let's get into the forecast here. And yes, severe weather is also in the books here as we go into tomorrow especially, but even today we have the chance for severe weather. We're going to walk you through that. We also have Melissa down here in the Caribbean, so we're going to be keeping tabs on this later in my tropical update. But for right now, let's look at our temperatures here, and you can see our highs this afternoon. Another chilly day will be across portions of Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, and much of interior sections of the Northeast. The closer to the lakes you are in the northern Ohio Valley, temperatures are also pretty chilly, ranging from the 40s to mid 50s. You definitely are feeling that as you walk out the door today, perhaps for work or any errands you have to run. Definitely pretty chilly. In contrast, a little bit warmer down here in Texas. We're in the mid and upper 80s. As we go into the afternoon, here we go into Friday. We are going to be cooling off. So Nebraska, Kansas, into Missouri, including Kansas City there. We could be seeing highs tomorrow in the mid 50s. And then as we go into Saturday, Sunday, we'll start to rebound those temperatures in the upper 50s to mid 60s range for a lot of the north central United States. Well, we do have freeze warnings that are in effect from your local National Weather Service offices, stretching from Rochester, Minnesota, literally to the Appalachians, and does cover areas such as Madison, Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Rockford, Peoria to Chicago, all the way down there through Indianapolis, Lexington, Dayton, Cincinnati, and all the way over again into the Appalachians and the Smoky Mountains. So those areas here in the navy blue, that is freeze warnings. In the green, stretching from Stillwater, Enid, all the way down through Oklahoma City, Lawton, Fort Sill, and into the Dallas-Fort Worth area on I-35 in the green. That is a flood watch. More on that here in a moment as well, as some heavy rainfall will be possible. So let's look at our low temperatures as we start the day tomorrow on Friday. And yes, this is the reason why those freeze warnings are up in the navy blue that we just showed you, because of those mid 20s to upper 20s for low temperatures starting off on Friday. Going to need a heavier jacket if you're heading to work or school, that is for sure. If you're standing around at the bus stop, going to be a little bit chilly out there. Heading into the weekend, we're going to see those cooler temperatures reside mostly in the Northeast as we start Saturday morning and Sunday morning, and we're going to start moderating our low temperatures back to the 40s, so probably not freeze and frost conditions, but still a chilly start to our weekend both days there into the northern plains and the upper Midwest. Now let's look at our severe weather chances and prospects as we go through today. This afternoon, Storm Prediction Center has upgraded to a yellow area where scattered severe thunderstorms will be possible. If you're in the dark green, that's where isolated severe weather will be possible. So we're talking areas near Lubbock all the way up there toward Wichita Falls for the potential of some severe weather this afternoon, including a 2% chance of tornadoes in green, including, again, Lubbock up toward Wichita Falls, and we're going to be keeping a very close eye on that. Severe weather going to be pretty similar areas as we go into Friday, October 24th tomorrow. Again, in the yellow, scattered severe weather possible. In the dark green, isolated severe weather possible. And there is a little bit of a heightened tornado risk tomorrow. In the green, that's still a 2%. In the brown, that's a 5% chance of tornadoes. And it's all within a 25-mile radius of any given point in and around this area. Then as we go into Saturday, October 25th, it shifts just a little bit further east, now including more of Tyler, Texas, College Station, Houston, all the way down to Victoria, Corpus Christi, San Antonio, and Austin, and then over there towards Shreveport and Lake Charles. Going to be keeping an eye on some isolated severe weather as we go into Saturday. So like we always do, let's look at the regions here. Look at the eastern region first, the central region next, and then the western region as we go after that. So here in the east, we got a lot of those pesky rain showers around across the Great Lakes Northeast here this afternoon. A lot more sunshine in the southeast, although we are going to be seeing some higher and even mid-level clouds moving in near the Gulf Coast as we go into this evening, but those pesky rain showers, that cooler air, will continue across the Great Lakes and the Northeast as we go into overnight tonight. Starting off the day on Friday, we're going to call it a partly cloudy sky along the coastline there from coastal Maine down there toward New York City, even in toward Washington, D.C. We could be waking up with a mostly clear sky there in Raleigh, and then across areas of the Great Lakes region, interior Northeast toward Buffalo, up here into areas near Lake Huron and Lake Erie. That's where we're going to be seeing a lot more cloud cover and the precipitation continuing with the drizzle on and off throughout the day, although some mix of sun and clouds will be possible. An increase of cloud cover across the Tennessee Valley into the southeast will be possible as we go into Friday afternoon and evening. We'll call it a partly to mostly cloudy sky with an increase of cloud cover going into the start of the weekend. Central U.S., we have a lot of cloud cover across northeastern Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, and Michigan. A lot of these areas dealing with some rain showers and even cold enough up there toward Lake Superior into the UP of Michigan where even a few snowflakes will be possible. So don't be surprised about that. Sunshine will prevail. Des Moines to Chicago down to St. Louis and Indianapolis. Plenty of sunshine. We'll call it a mostly sunny sky for the Thursday afternoon. And then here comes those stronger storms. We're going to be watching out for those mostly after sunset across portions of northwest Texas into central Oklahoma. Locally heavy downpours will be possible with these, but tornadoes also will be possible. So make sure that you have multiple ways to receive severe weather watches and warnings, a NOAA weather radio, and make sure it's charged up, have the batteries replaced in case you do fall asleep and it does alert you for any warnings out here, especially for tornado warnings. Starting off the day on Friday, we got some rain shower activity from, say, Kansas City, Wichita, down there towards the eastern side of the OKC metro, so Tulsa down toward McAllister there in Oklahoma, looking at a rainy start. So if you're heading off to work or school, going to need the umbrella to start your day. And then we're going to watch a lot of these storms start to turn over the atmosphere into the afternoon and evening. Some of these could be strong and strong enough to produce tornadoes. Here we have that heightened risk for tornadoes into central southwest Texas as we go into tomorrow, late afternoon, evening. That's when that low-level jet really starts to increase. The upper Midwest on Friday, we're looking at a mostly sunny to partly cloudy sky. So Twin Cities, Chicago, Milwaukee, and Des Moines, you guys will see a mostly sunny to partly cloudy sky on Friday. In the western U.S. we go. Here we got mostly cloudy skies across the desert southwest, especially for Utah, Colorado, and eastern New Mexico. We're going to increase our cloud cover across the Pacific Northwest overnight. That will thicken and lower and will produce some heavier rainfall for Seattle, Olympia, all the way down in toward Portland, Oregon as we go into Friday afternoon. Some of that rainfall moving inland, and as it does, as it crosses over the Cascades, higher elevations are much colder, so that will turn that rain over to snow, and we could be piling that up there, and especially Washington State as we go through Friday evening. Let's look here at the weekend. You can see the storm system down across the southern plains will continue to bring some heavier rainfall down across the lower Mississippi Valley, Dixie Alley vicinity as we go into Saturday and Sunday. That storm system in the Pacific Northwest also going to be giving us some lower elevation heavier rains and higher elevation heavier snows going through Sunday, October 26th. Overall, rainfall pretty heavy down here from Oklahoma southward into east central Texas, so especially along and east of the I-35 corridor, extending eastward into Arkansas, Louisiana, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia, northwest Florida Panhandle. That's where we could be seeing widespread 1 to 4 inches of rainfall, and a lot of this coming within the next 48 hours or so. Heavier rains also for the Pacific Northwest, Seattle, Olympia, down there toward Portland, Eugene, and Medford, and northern parts of California, seeing some heavier rainfall, again 1 to 3 inches there. There is a flooding risk here as we go through today across portions of central Oklahoma into north central Texas. Marginal risk, that gets a little bit more extended and widespread as we go into your Friday. Slight risk for flash flooding, which means isolated scattered floods will be possible from Tulsa, Oklahoma City down into Dallas, San Antonio as we go into Friday. And then that slight risk moving toward Houston, Tyler, College Station, Shreveport, Monroe, Baton Rouge, and Lake Charles as we go into Saturday. And then finally by Sunday, still seeing a marginal risk for flooding across the southeast, and that will be lessening toward the end of the weekend. Snowfall prospects, again, higher elevations, Cascades in the Pacific Northwest, northwestern Central Rockies, Rockies. You have to really go north into the British Columbia province of Canada to get some really heavy snowfall in the higher elevations there near the coastline. Another 4 to 6 feet are possible between now and 7 a.m. on Monday, October 27th. Let's look at the wind too, because it's going to be a little bit windy across the Pacific Northwest, been very windy across the Midwest, Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley over the past few days. The wind will be lessening in those areas, but starting to pick up further west. So the Pacific Northwest, you're going to notice as that storm system comes in tomorrow, but especially this weekend, we're going to be seeing the winds increase in a big way. Wind gusts in higher elevations could be closing in on over 70 miles per hour. So perhaps maybe some wind advisories and some high wind watches and warnings may be needed there. Looking at the long-range forecast going into next week, Monday, October 27th through Friday, Halloween, October 31st of 2025. You got a trough here across the southeast, big ridge building up toward the eastern Hudson Bay and eastern Canada and northern Quebec, and then a weaker ridge across the desert southwest, and then we pick it up with the trough again in the British Columbia province of Canada. So cooler along the east coast, cooler in the Pacific Northwest up into British Columbia there, warmer in southern Canadian prairies, and all the way down here across the plains into the desert southwest, we're looking at warmer than normal temperatures. Keep in mind, as we go into the last few days of October, those normal highs are coming down, so it won't take a lot of those warmer 60s, low 70s to get above normal temperatures for this time of year. Looking at precipitation, looks pretty active along the eastern seaboard and looking pretty active in the Pacific Northwest, slightly active in the Midwest, but I think it's going to be much drier across the southern plains. We look at the deterministic models here. The European model is very much in agreement with some heavier rains from North Carolina, South Carolina, up into Virginia. Pretty heavy rains across Washington State and the Pacific Northwest. Some sporadic rainfall across the Midwest there, but very dry from the desert Southwest towards Texas there in the southern plains. We look at the GFS, a little bit wetter, more widespread with the rainfall next week across the east. We're going to have to hash this out as we get closer. A trough's going to develop, another storm system there in the east as we go into later next week. Early November still looks very volatile. We're going to have a couple cool days, couple warm days. So don't get complacent with cool weather. Don't get complacent with the warm weather. Potentially seeing a big blast of cool air, as we have all mentioned in most of my videos. Once we get closer to Veterans Day there towards that second week of November, potentially a more widespread potent brand of cold air across the central and eastern U.S. That will be something to watch. As far as the European extended ensemble, it is remaining cool in the east, a little bit more normal, but slightly warmer further south you go out across the west. And then you can see here the GFS extended ensemble is much warmer than normal in the west and central, and mainly confines those cooler areas to the east. So there's a little bit of uncertainty there. Also uncertainty lying within the precipitation. The European extended ensemble much wetter for the upper Midwest here into the Ohio Valley and Northeast. It's much drier in those areas on the GFS extended ensemble, which would push the active storm track further north towards central Canada and the Hudson Bay up there. So we'll keep an eye on those trends as we go into early November. Let's look at this beast of a system, or is likely to be a beast of a system. This is Melissa, Tropical Storm Melissa in the Caribbean, and this system is really just getting going, right? We have a tropical storm, maximum sustained winds, 45 miles per hour. The National Hurricane Center has it crawling westward just south of Jamaica, at least with the center of the low, and becoming a major hurricane. Cat 3, Cat 4, and not even out of the realm of possibility a Category 5 system developing by that time. There are, of course, hurricane watches and tropical storm warnings up there for Jamaica and also parts of Haiti. So we'll be keeping a close eye on that. Again, this system's crawling, moving north-northwest at 2 miles per hour. So let's get into the nuts and bolts of this forecast, because there are a couple scenarios that this system definitely could take a run at Category 4, Category 5 strength. And you can see here's one of the scenarios as we have a high pressure system developing on the backside of our pesky low that's up here in the Great Lakes. That double barrel area of high pressure is pretty strong. 1028, 1029. That's going to create, yes, beautiful weather in the Great Lakes, sunshine, but underneath the pressure will lower, and that high pressure is going to get so strong it's going to keep this system down in the Caribbean for several days. You can see as we go into Sunday, October 26th, it's still down there, and it really doesn't catapult across Cuba and the Bahamas until we get to around 30th and the 31st, closer to Halloween, as a trough swings in, and you can better see it get here. This is your 500 millibar jet stream, and you can see our first trough coming in. That's way too far north to get any system to grab onto it, but watch our next trough. It develops here across the central eastern U.S. as we go toward the 28th into the 29th, which would be next Tuesday and Wednesday. But our major hurricane is still there near Jamaica, but as it comes further south, and depending on how far south that trough comes, we'll pick it up and move it into the western Atlantic and away from land outside of Bermuda, and hopefully get this system to move away from the Caribbean. That is the hope. But looking here at those water temperatures in the Caribbean, it is no shock that this system is going to likely undergo rapid intensification. Very warm waters here into the 80s for sure in most areas, even low 90s in some of those shelf waters, and that is easily 2-3 degrees Celsius above normal of what we should see here in the third week of October. So that is noteworthy. And you can see Tropical Storm Melissa, the model intensity guidance, most of the models show it getting into Cat 2, Cat 3 strength, but there are some members here getting into Category 4, even low-end Cat 5 strength, and that cannot be discounted with how warm those water temperatures are and just how long that system residence time will be sitting in the Caribbean. So here's a couple scenarios. This is the HAFS A model, and you can see this system is going to crawl westward just closer towards Jamaica as we go into the weekend, and this is going to be bottoming out near a 940, 935 millibar low, which would be a Category 3-4 system, and then you can see it's just going to be dumping rainfall there into Jamaica and Haiti. And then we see the HAFS B model is pretty similar, although it is a little bit further west than the HAFS A, but you guys get the idea that Jamaica is in the crosshairs here, Haiti and eastern Cuba, and then eventually this could be tracking into the central and eastern Bahama Islands as well, and then eventually we'll have to watch Bermuda. So a lot of different places being affected by this, not only from just a wind perspective and storm surge, but look at the rainfall, folks. You guys know, if anybody's taken any trips vacation-wise down to Jamaica, very hilly terrain, it is very mountainous here, and if you see 30-40 inches of rain, because just simply the system's going to be sitting in the Caribbean, this is a big deal, and this is going to cause not only some major flooding, but mudslides and all that sort of stuff. So that is not good news. Even eastern Cuba could see that, well, and portions there of Haiti. So we need to keep our thoughts and prayers on those folks down there into the Caribbean. On the Pacific side, the good news is that any system that develops, it's a 70% chance of developing, pretty likely odds it'll develop over the next few days. Good news here is that this system is moving away from the North America and any source of land, so if it does develop, it will not affect anybody directly. But notice again, there are some members here that start to get this into tropical depression and tropical storm strength briefly, and then it moves into cooler waters before it gets close to Hawaii. So I think the East Pacific system is going to dwindle without anybody really noticing. Maybe if you're fishing out there, or the fish that are in the ocean may notice it, but nobody else besides that. So thank you all for watching. We're going to keep our thoughts and our prayers to the folks down there in the Caribbean. Hopefully the best outcome, hopefully the system stays weak and moves away quicker and doesn't cause all that flooding and storm surge. Keep our thoughts and prayers to those folks. If you do enjoy the forecast, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We cover Canada, the United States, and the tropics. We'll do it on each and every video that we do here. Turn the notification bell to all when you subscribe so you get all my notifications for videos and live streams when I post them to my YouTube channel. Like the video, give it a thumbs up. Would love to hit 1,000 likes today, folks. We got so close a couple days ago and yesterday. I'd love to hit it today. Share the video with a friend, family member, and on social media, and we'll keep you covered. Thank you all for watching. Thanks for the support, and have a wonderful and safe rest of your Thursday out there.